earlier in the show, and if you missed that part of the show, we were talking about the things that you can glean from a spring game. But I do think that there are fans who put way too much into it. So I wanted to go through some of those top 5 things that you hear after, during, before spring games about it. Number 5, this is the best practice of the year. Actually, we just heard from Blake Blackmar that usually the spring game's the worst one.
Yeah.
Because it's the last one.
Yeah.
So if you are going in thinking you're going to see the best practice of the year, you're probably not. But that doesn't really mean anything. So just go in, look for certain things, but don't expect to see them at their maybe absolute best because, again, it's the last practice. There's a different atmosphere. Some schools do it differently, and it's not, it doesn't have to be the best practice of the year. They've got time to fix what's going on if it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah. I mean, it's a spring game.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Number 4, that you're seeing anything that counts. Like nothing they're seeing counts. So don't freak out about one thing or another. I think people get excited. I remember when I was in college, you get real excited about the third string quarterback who you think is better than the other two, but you don't think about who he's actually in the game against other third stringers. So he might be the best third stringer, but he's still a third stringer.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what I more than anything else was referencing to a spring game. You're going to have, just like in training camp and at NFL, wide receivers always look better than they really are, especially ones that never make the team because they're getting most of the reps, or they're getting a lot of the reps that you see the skill people. But yeah, I don't know now last year again there were a couple of things we did see that you could tell that
it informs you.
Yes,
but it doesn't.
No,
it can.
No.
Yeah. Number 3, if someone plays poorly, it changes their whole career. I've heard, he struggled in the spring mightily. Well, it's a spring. Was he banged up? Was it, they don't have a game coming up for 4 more months, so just cut him a break. It just, remember you're watching, maybe not the best practice of the year. Might be middle of the road at best sometimes, even for good teams. That could be the case for Alabama last week. Wasn't their best practice of the year. Are they going to be the best team this year? Probably. Don't freak out.
Yep.
Number 2, this walk-on scored a long touchdown. We should play him more. Not necessarily. Cool your jets. Everybody's happy that he had his moment, and people got to see it.
That's more like an NFL training camp.
Number 2.
Exactly.
Yeah. The Cowboys training camp, it's always, man, this receiver's fast. Yeah, they're all fast. That's how they got here.
Yep.
And if you're a walk-on, especially at an FBS school, especially at a good FBS school, you're probably still a pretty good athlete, but not necessarily better than the guys who are in front of you, the scholarship guys. There's a reason you had to walk on and they have a scholarship in most cases. The Baker Mayfields of the world are few and far between. So,
and that's still the term walk-on for Baker Mayfield, which technically he was, is still kind of.
It was a walk-on at Tech for a little bit. But yeah, exactly. So, that whole thing is maybe a little bit blown out of proportion. And number 1, that the coaches have 100% made up their minds on something. They haven't. That's why they like spring, because they don't have to. After spring, they got months to think about it. Now, would they like to be able to say, would Steve Sarkisian like to be able to say, yes, Quinn Ewers is the quarterback, we're going to go forward? Yeah, but he doesn't have to, and it gives him more time. Would it be great if you knew exactly who everybody was going in to the fall and you kind of hit the ground running? Yeah, but that's also why you practice and why you do these things. So again, whatever happens and whatever mixing and matching you see at your respective spring game, don't read so much into it that it freaks you out. It's just a little public. This has been a public service.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say on the walk-on thing, Baylor actually has a couple walk-on receivers that, could actually play and be, possibly starters if they play well enough. I mean, not just tomorrow, but in general. They've got a couple of preferred walk-ons. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's too many people that read too much into any of these things. I mean, if you do, then you probably need to relax a little bit and, just take yourself not so seriously, because there is, 5 months until the actual season starts and practices are actually gearing up for games. So, yeah, it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be just like a formal goodbye to spring, and you hope you see some good things, and you just hope guys stay healthy, and that's what we'll be looking for tomorrow.
Good stuff. Very good. That's number 2. Again, Paul?
He already did number 1.
Number 1.
Number 1?
Yeah,
it went back to number 2.
Yeah.
There you go.
Craig
okay. All right. Yeah. No. Yeah, and most coaches aren't going to give much away anyway, unless you have a star quarterback who's back, and he was a star back, and unquestioned. Even then, sometimes they're well, we got to wait to see what happens in the fall. All right, thank